Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, gals and pals, holes and poles. We're going to be doing some pack openings again. And then we'll be playing some games. As you can see down here, we got our refresh. Haven't played for a couple days, and it is a new week, so we got our weeklies down here. But I really want to get these packs open, as there's just quite a bit of stuff we haven't... well, I mean, there's lots of wild cards and stuff that we can get out of here. So I think we're going to save the golden packs. And I think we're going to do the March of the Machine. And I don't... Are these mythics? I can't remember. Here, let me check the store real quick. I can't remember what the orange... packs... Yes, those are the mythic packs. So we're going to be opening just March of the Machine. We'll save the Aftermath ones for when we get more of them. So we're going to be opening about 18 of them. 10 mythics, 8 regulars. And do we just want to... You know what? Fuck it. Let's go ahead and buy 2 packs and just make it 20. Packs. I know we were saving up to 10,000 coins, but I just make it a nice round 20. Or basically, I'll probably just do 2 videos. Let's see here. Of opening 10 packs last time. It was like an hour and 20 minutes for my last pack opening, so I did 20 packs. And I got some food cooking in the background, so if all of a sudden I have to rush off, I'll edit it out, but you might hear me, I might say I'll be back in a sec. Simply because some food is cooking, and for some reason if I smell some burning, I just might disappear. So there might sound like a slight edit. I know people aren't supposed to... Oh no, I revealed, did I edit it? I don't really care. So, you know what? Let's go... we're going to probably reveal this video first. So let's just go ahead and... Oops. Keep opening. Oh, you can actually click... oh, okay. I thought as soon as you clicked them, they would open. So you click and they'll go over there. Okay. All right. I mean, it's easier if there was just an arrow button, but... So we have opened up several packs of this already, so not everything is going to be new to us. But there's still quite a few we haven't opened. We got Oracle of Tragedy. This is new. Excuse me. At first I thought I was going to burp, and then it felt like I was going to throw up, so I didn't want to throw up on my mic. Oracle of Tragedy. Everything's starting great. When Oracle of Tragedy enters the battlefield, I mean, I guess it's the Oracle of Tragedy, so we almost had one. When it enters the battlefield or dies, choose one. 2 triggers. Death and ETB trigger. Draw a card, and then discard a card. Shuffle up to 4 targets. Or shuffle up to 4 target cards with mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard into your library. This seems like to be an interestingly abusable card. I mean, draw a card, discard a card on a stick, ETB trigger, and die trigger. So you got it coming in and going out. That's pretty nice. Then you also have decks that'll want to use it. Now, it doesn't say when it leaves the battlefield, but dies, so you need a death. But the ETB trigger, obviously, so if this is on a... you can manipulate this with flash and blink abilities. When I say flash, I don't mean like the ability, the keyword flash. I mean like flashing it in and out of the battlefield, which is, yeah, blinking it. Sorry, that's probably the right word. All right, so this one I guess we've had before, but I don't remember it. Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses a life. You may cast Rona, Sheoldred's Faithful from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other costs. Interesting. It wants to, it's about instant and sorcery decks. And I gotta remember not to click my tongue. When I did my last pack opening, I do two things. I click my tongue. Can't remember what the other one is. Oh, I breathe before I start talking. Gotta learn to do all these funny mic things that everyone else on YouTube probably has fancier stuff to fix. Except the clicking tongue is just a bad habit of mine. Flywheel Racer. Oh yeah, this one I remember. Vigilance. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if Flywheel Racer is a creature. Crew 1. Eki, Scrap Chomper. Sacrifice an artifact or land. Draw a card. That looks like that could be a playable popper card, by the way. The artifact stuff in an artifact deck or artifact useful deck could definitely be interesting to see. It's not super... The tap is annoying, but... This one, destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Nah. Even for Pauper, it would have had to be at least a 1 or 2. Tandem Takedown, uncommon, 1 green, instant, up to 2 target creatures you control, each get +1/+0 till end of turn. Each deal damage equal to their power to another creature, target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Ooh, they can also hit battles. See, I just did it again. I just realized I click my tongue when I'm thinking. Or like when I'm about to say something because I'm thinking. It's kind of like a... Gotta remember. It looks like there's a... Is there an insect being eaten? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that thing's mouth. I'd have to look at the picture closer. I don't know how I feel about this card. I think if it was green instant, maybe. Or 1 green. The 3 mana... but I guess... Yeah. Iridescent Blade Master gets +2/+2. Just kind of a bear with a upside. Alright. Oh, I was thinking that was our rare, and I'm like, what? Grafted? This is our first of it, too. Grafted Butcher, Phyrexian Samurai. When I said that, I was expecting it to be a zombie. 2 mana, 2/2, so we got a bear. Enters the battlefield. You can Phyrexians you control gain menace till end of turn. Oh, it's a lord. Other Phyrexians you control get +1/+1. Okay. Okay. Pay 3 and a black, sack an artifact creature, return grafted butcher from a graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. I wonder why a lot of abilities lately have been only triggering as sorceries. I mean, I understand they want to power down some creatures, but then some creatures are still way super powerful. Why would you slow this creature down? I mean, it's still an interesting Phyrexian Lord. I haven't noticed Phyrexians being a thing, but I haven't played Standard yet. I'm silly. Well, that's what we got. Galissa, Herald of Predation. 3 black and a green. Incubate 2... which always create an incubator token with 2/1/1 counters, and then pays 2 so it's a 0/0 token with 2/1/1 counters on it. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, so this is 5 mana, 3 green black, legendary creature, Phyrexian zombie elf. So obviously she got the Phyrexian added onto her. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1, incubate twice. Ooh. incubate 2 twice. So, now you gotta at the beginning of combat. So yeah, so you get this right. You play this in your first main phase. Go straight to your combat phase, and you get this trigger. Or transform all incubator tokens you control. Phyrexians you control gain first strike and death touch till end of turn. I see this as playable. Now it is legendary, so maybe it's like a 3-of depending on how good it is. I haven't played standard at all, simply because I just getting the cards. You have to be very, very active playing. Like, you got to usually put money in, or you have to save stuff up over time to make sure you have the cards to play in the next standard rotation. It just rotates too fast. Even in Paper Magic, I always tended to play a budget deck unless there was a deck that I really liked. Like one time during was it M20, so way back. Like 10 years ago, was it like 2012, 13 maybe? Right around when Zendikar Rising, I think, was happening. I played a blue-red artifact deck that had hangerback walkers. Those were the most expensive things at the time, were the hangerback walkers, but luckily they made a printing of them when they came out with like a deck, a pre-built deck thing that had hangerback walkers in them. So that was really helpful. Otherwise, the rest of the deck was really good. It played Ornithopters and a blue art enchantment that made an artifact. You control a 5/5 artifact creature for 2 mana, so you just turned to either you had the indestructible artifact land. I can't remember what it's called now. Dark Steel Citadel. I think that's what it is. You would turn your Dark Steel Citadel on turn 2 into a 5/5 indestructible creature, or you turned your Ornithopter turn 2 into a 5/5 flyer and just started beating face. So, but I love artifacts. That's why I played that deck. So, unfortunately, I never tended to play top tier. Like when Merfolk, back in Ixalan, I just played blue-green Merfolk because I liked playing blue-green Merfolk. Unfortunately, I can't spend the money on the... yeah. Anyways, enough about me. Let's rest of the packs. So I still think that's a decent card. Definitely, it would be an interesting... obviously, it's black-green, so I think Commander... If this was obviously a green-white card, it'd be great in token decks. Unfortunately... I need to see, there are some white incubator token creators. Obviously, in the last pack opening, we got 3 of them. I can't remember. It's something Exarch or Exarch. I can't remember what it's called. But it's a cat Phyrexian that makes incubates. That you can incubate. It's got XX in the thing, so you can incubate as much as you want. You can just dump as much mana as you can into it. So I wonder in standard what has the most incubate strategy. This obviously is a strong strong kind of token creator, incubate token creator. And we also noticed that the Lord, Samurai Lord, that gives Phyrexians, which these incubate tokens are Phyrexian, it transforms into a 0/0 Phyrexian artifact creature. So that thing gives +1/+1, plus obviously it would pump up Glissa. So seems like black has a lot of the Phyrexian. Obviously a lot of Phyrexians are in the black color scheme, but I wonder what is the strongest. So we've seen Wrath before, but he is, whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control. If you do, draw a card, and then 3 white creatures you control get +1/+1 and get vigilance until end of turn. Invasion of Kaladesh. This one is an interesting one. This is the exact color. This is exactly something I would love to have seen in that blue-red artifact deck that I played back during the M20. Enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 color Thopter artifact creature token, and then when it the battle is defeated, flip it. Aetherwing, get Aetherwing, a golden scale flagship, artifact vehicle, flying. When its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control, crew 1. I would like to see how useful this is. There's some artifact cards like Galvanic Blast, which does 4 damage for 1 red. It's either 2 damage for 1 or 4 damage for 1, depending on if you have Metalcraft, which is having 3 artifacts. So if they bring Galvanic Blast into Explorer, and yeah, if they bring Galvanic Blast into Arena, I could see this being an interesting target for it. 'Cause this could easily be part of an artifact deck, with a crew 1 and with its power being, because it's basically a mixture of token artifact generation, a target, and then you can the other side is a creature. Now obviously you don't have to attack it right away, it just can produce a 1/1 Thopter that flies, but also if you need it, it's kind of a more balanced, I think, cranial plating. Yes, the cranial plating is attached to the vehicle already, and crew 1 is pretty easy to do, right? But you need to be able to have either attacked it. Either you have to attack with the 1/1 multiple times, or you have to take a turn attacking it to get it to flip. But I doubt they'll bring. It's a low chance they'll bring cranial plating into Arena, unless they plan on bringing all the older sets into Arena eventually, which I really hope they do, because it would be interesting for them to eventually have even modern. This would be the one way to keep things like Vintage and other sets alive, because eventually it'll just be, it'll be impossible to play. Either not enough cards because they're unprintable, or they'll be too expensive, stuff like that. Too many people hold them and not pay for them. But this is interesting because it's got cranial plating basically stamped onto a creature that's flipped over that you have to take on. But getting a 1/1 creature for 2 mana that flies, that's an artifact that's part of a strategy of yours, that then you could also get into a star power 4 toughness crew 1 thing that, basically a creature with flying with cranial plating attached to it. I could see this being an interesting artifact deck, especially if they bring in other things. I can't remember what everything they've brought in so far. So Skittering Surveyor. When Skittering Surveyor enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shovel. Just a worse of the flying version. Nope, first one of these. I've seen this played against me. This is a decent card. Instead of that, there was one that's like 1 blue transformed for 4 or 5. Yeah, 3 and a Phyrexian. I think this is obviously the better one. Yes, it costs more off the bat, but the trample prowess. This goes into obviously mono red, but if you're playing like red blue burn spells or something, with like not just red blue cantrips or red blue I can't remember what it's called, but there's it's something rage. I can't remember what it's called, but it gives +3/+0 haste, and then you can cast it from your graveyard for like 3 mana. The initial cost is like 1 red, so you can cast it twice. This is a pretty good card. Trample prowess, basically you're always going to pay 2 life to activate it for 3 mana unless you have something else to do. And then the flip side, trample ward 2 prowess. It's just all upside almost. The ward 2 is so you would have to, because trigger goes on the transform goes on the stack, correct? When you transform, the activation goes on the stack like any other activation. But when you activate it, it triggers and goes on the stack. The creature would still be on the field. So you could kill it in response to the activation before it flips and goes to ward. Otherwise, somebody could also, if you go to kill it, they could also activate it in response. But it is a sorcery. Obviously, the only thing that would make it better is if it's activated at not at sorcery speed. I'm actually surprised that this is not a rare card. Maybe it's the cost for the activation. But, yeah, this is a pretty good card. I've seen it used. It's pretty good. Even in a mono red deck where you're never going to be paying for that 2. I mean, you're not paying it for that 2. You're always paying 2 life. Still think it's going to be a pretty good card. Because the ward, the prowess, 2 double prowess triggers. Pretty good. Volcanic Spite. Oh wait, is this the first time I've seen this card? This is the first one I have, really. Interesting. I must have had one played against me. Volcanic Spite, 2 mana, deals 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Okay. I just wish it just said any target. You may put a card from your hand at the bottom of your library. If you do, draw a card. They've been doing that more often. There's that other 2 mana burn spell that lets you do something similar. It's from a while back. Deadly Derision. I think this is a better version of that. It's from the one with monsters and humans. I can't remember what it's called because I totally missed that set. But I think this is just a better upside version of that card because it only lets you target creatures, and I think now this lets you hit creatures, planewalkers, and battles. I'd have to see the 2 side by side. Deadly Derision, destroy target creature or planeswalker, create a treasure token. I think there's probably better cards in Pauper. It might be if there's a strategy that involves treasure tokens. Because otherwise you require 4 mana, you do net 1 more, the treasure token can be... Nah, I think there's probably better stuff. Rin's Resolve. This makes me think of Rin's reviews on YouTube, but I need to go watch that kid. Rin's reviews, if you haven't seen Rin's reviews, I haven't watched him in a little bit, but he's always funny. If he's still around, Rin's reviews, the dude's a funny kid. I shouldn't say kid. He's probably my age or probably a little younger, but he's a funny guy. I always say funny kid. I feel like I'm older now. Like everybody's younger than me because of my age. Rin's Resolve. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. I don't know if I like the fact that Brad's got so much pseudo draw, but I'm gonna have to get used to it. So this is a reprint. I have these in paper. I do like the art. 4 mana, 2 green for a star toughness. Sorry, it's star power, 3 toughness. Its power is equal to your devotion to green, which is pretty good, especially in like green stompy. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. I'm kind of surprised. I don't know what the overall strategy, but I'm kind of surprised it's not played in the mono green Storm the Festival, because that deck just tends to beat down sometimes. Invasion of Lorwyn. When Invasion of Lorwyn enters the battlefield, destroy target non-elf creature an opponent controls with power X or less, where X is the number of lands you control. And the rest are reprints. But Thunderhead Squadron, 5 and a blue, Convoke flying. Possibly a Pauper card, just because of Convoke. Obviously depends on what you're doing. If it was Delve, obviously it would be playable. Zerex Strobe Knight. They need to bring Pauper. Pauper needs to be a playable thing, constructed thing in Arena. I don't know why it's not. I know it would be a totally different meta because it doesn't have a lot of cards that regular Pauper has, but I bet you so many people would play it. Zerex's Strobe Knight. 2 and a blue, 2/2, Flying Vigilance. Tap, create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token with Vigilance. Activate only if you cast 2 or more spells this turn. Two or more spells this turn. Interesting. Mirror and Avenge, destroy target creature which was dealt damage this turn, draw a card. I think that's going to be playable in Pauper. Order of the Mirror, transform. When Order of the Alabaster Host becomes blocked by a creature, that creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Seems pretty just standard. Ooh, Invasion of Innistrad, 2 black, flash. Enters the battlefield. Target creature and opponent control gets -13/13 till end of turn. Alright. Deluge of the Dead. When Deluge of the Dead enters the battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. This is an enchantment. 2 and a black. Exile target creature from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. I'm not sure how to feel about this. I think the cost at 4 is very negative. Especially, I mean, obviously the neg 13, pretty powerful. But you have, was it not mental misstep? You have something misstep or something like that. You have one card that if a creature died this turn, a creature gets neg 13. That's like a common. I know this does it whenever, but I think at 4 mana, it seems a little steep. I would see this maybe as a 3 mana kill spell, basically, because we have lots of 3 mana kill spells. And the fact that it only hits creatures, no planeswalkers, you can't hit battles with it. Now that's just, it's basically a kill spell, right? And then you can also, if you take a turn, or if you're able to, especially a long game, if you do deal 5 damage to it, it then flips into an enchantment for you that you get 2 tokens right away, and then you can start exiling cards from graveyards, so it also turns into graveyard. It feels like a lot of the battle ones, it feels like you have to not necessarily design around them, but you have to have lots of interactions with dealing damage. Either flyers, so you can get to them right away, or burn spells, so you can hit them without, you can just target them right away. But, I mean, the flip side does have token generation and graveyard hate. So, because I could see this being playable if it was just a 3 mana kill spell. And then if you want to get the other side, and then it just has upside later on in the game if the game draws out. So, I don't know. I'd have to see how standard is. Again, I'm thinking outside standard right now. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to check on my food, obviously. I'll try and edit this out in the long run. But I'll be right back. All right. The food turned out looking perfect. I didn't taste it yet, though. But outside looks good. So let's crack on. Let's see here. So yeah. New pack. Like I said, not sure how I feel about this. It's interesting. If it was a 3 mana neg 13, I could see it being playable. Obviously, things like Murderous Rider, I think that's what it is. You know, kill spell, 3 mana kill spell, take 2 damage on one side, and then you have a life linking 2/3 night zombie creature on the other side. So I would. They're a bit different, situationally different. It's different, obviously, in how you get the creature. And how you get the creatures, because in this case, it would give you two. Immediately, it would give you two black zombies. And they don't even come in tapped, so that's good. But you would need to somehow do that 5 damage to it, where you would just have to normally pay mana for the Murderous Rider. So if it was, 4 mana, do neg 13, and then pay mana to flip it to get the other side of the card, not having to worry about them having blockers. But if you do also play this in, say, like an Esper, or say like blue-black control or something, or even mono-black control, there's a chance that this is playable, because you have lots of wrath, kill spells, all that kind of stuff, and you just need one creature in order to do a little damage to this. Like if you have a 3 power creature, 2 smacks to it, and you have a card that could really hurt their graveyard, especially if their graveyard strategy, along with, obviously, it was a removal spell itself in the beginning, and it also then gives you 2 bodies that nearly make up for the damage that you did right away to it. So, you're just 1 power away from the 5 total that you did to it, and that means on the next turn you can turn an attack with 4 power on two bodies, with the ability to get more if there's creatures in the graveyards, which in mono black or Esper control, or whatever version of that, then you're probably going to have creatures in the graveyard either via kill spells, wraths, removal, that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, obviously, what did we get here? This is the first time we've gotten one of these. This is kind of the, what's it called? It doesn't look that great, to be fair. I don't know why, but it looks kind of like the card art that they gave for, the Egyptian themed set for things like the spells. But it also looks very low res to me for some reason. Like, I get what it's trying to do, but it feels like they could have more detail in here to make it look less low res. Like pictographs and stuff down the side. Like, no, I can't do it, but like in here and in here we could have some pictures, some pictographs and stuff. I don't know. I know we have these little things down here, little trident things or whatever they're called. It just doesn't. Yeah, it looks low attempt. I know some people weren't super fans of the card art, card design on that. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the set was. Yeah, I can't remember what the set was called. Either way, I like the fact that they're including these alternate arts, but at the same time, this one feels rather low. Like, it feels like it's too zoomed in, or it's not. It's, like I said, very low attempt versus some of the other ones. I liked some of the other ones quite a bit. Like, I like the stained glass ones quite a bit. The stained glass ones looked very good. Maybe it's just not for me. I'll give you that. But I think that they could spruce it up a bit and make it look cooler. with like pictographs and stuff, looking like part of the pyramid wall. Even the art could look pictography, and that would be interesting, to me at least. Emoti, the Celebrant of Bounty. 3 green, blue. Cascade. Spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. That's interesting. Interesting. Another Tandem Takedown. The one I am interested in, but I'm not positive about. So this is a new one. Boobies. There we go. This is a common Etched Host Doombringer. I love this art. It's not a zombie, it is a demon. I love how demons aren't like scary demons like in art, like like the way humans depict them, but in Magic they're like something that just can be taken over, you know? They're not like angels, and demons aren't like the lofty, scary things of what am I trying to say? They're not ethereal or of hell. They're very more real, almost like a creature. Well, they are a creature. You know what I mean? Like, but the fact that some person or some thing can overtake it, a demon, it's just kind of funny to me. Etched Host Doombringer, 4 and a black creature, Phyrexian demon. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2. Choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove 3 defense counters from it. Otherwise, put 3 defense counters on it. Huh. That would be an interesting ability if it was on a better card. Since it's a common, I don't see this being played. But if there is a better card that has that ability... I don't remember this one. Expedition Lookout, 1 and a blue, 2/3 Defender. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Expedition Lookout can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and it can't be blocked. Interesting. Fine. We've done that one. Invasion of Regatha. I think this is one of the ones that I wasn't sure if we've been to Regatha or not. But this is the first one. No. So did we get... I think we got a lot of first sightings of places, I think. There was like 2 other cards that were invasions of places that I don't remember. I did miss some sets, but they were definitely names. But these also could be older places that I never... older planes that existed that we've been to, like with the leather white, the Weatherlight and crew, or other people, and just I don't know them, so they could be from older sets, they could be new sets. So Invasion of Regatha. When Invasion of Regatha enters, 2 in a red. When Invasion of Regatha enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to another target, battle, or opponent, and 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. Interesting. If this was just 3 mana, 4 damage to any target, and 1 damage to another target, or just 4 damage to any target. If you just got rid of the 1 damage to target creature, and just 4 damage to any target, then I think this could be playable of some sort. But prowess. If a non-creature source you control, then after the battle, deal 5 damage to it. Disciples of the Inferno. Creature human monk prowess. If a non-creature source you control would deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, and deals that much damage plus 2. I mean, the flip side is kind of like this is a non-creature source you control, not just like a red source. It's a very powered down version of the red dwarf that gives red sources plus 2, basically plus 2 damage. So yeah, I'm interested to see if this is played at all in the if there's a red deck wins in standard. And then we have Marauding Dreadship, Vehicle, 2 in red, Haste, when it enters the battlefield, Incubate 2, Crew 2. Interesting. I guess it's a Phyrexian ship. I picked up. Ooh, this I need. I even need these for my not my standard. For my paper magic. I need Chrome Host Sea Shark. This is a good Phyrexian. 3 mana, 2/4 flyer. When you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. So this works amazingly in artifact decks. Like non-creature artifact decks, but like commander, I need this for command. I've got like 3 commander decks that need this. I need this for my wizard. Like, this isn't a wizard, obviously, but I have a wizard deck that plays tons of non-creature spells, so this will obviously slot in very nicely because it'll just start pumping out tokens, and then ways to defend myself while I counter spells, and the fact that it's only 3 mana. Yeah, this is a good card. I'm surprised this hasn't... Very good card. I'm surprised it's stapled into something so cheap. Obviously, it's a non-creature. So this... Yeah. Just non-creature. It's a pretty good card. Very good card. It'll work in many strategies. It'll work in... it'll work in a lot of stuff that I can think... Not just that I can think of, but it has a lot of brew around. There's lots of stuff I could see it playing around with. Even if you create like lots of 1-drops or 2-drops or something that are small, that are artifacts, artifact theme stuff, I see it because it'll just spit out a whole bunch of stuff. It can become an engine for token generation in a non-creature deck. Yeah. Completed Huntmaster. 2 in a black. Phyrexian Elf Warrior. 1 tap, sack another creature or artifact, incubate 3. Okay. This makes not an infinite... It doesn't make an infinite loop, but it does go like in a sack deck that just cares about death triggers. Like every turn, you could sack an incubate. You know, you could sack a token or a creature and create another token or creature. So every turn, like, yeah, so every turn you're creating something. You're just going to get a death trigger every turn. It replaces itself. You sack 1 creature, right, and then you produce a token, an incubate token, and then you can just sack that token again. And then if you find a way to untap this, then you can do it a couple times as long as you have mana. It's 3 mana though. I wonder if there are any sack decks that are going to want this. But it is an interesting sack outlet because it replaces the thing that you sacrificed. And there's very few things that tend... Unless the creature... Because usually they have creatures that trigger sacrifices, and then creatures you sacrifice. And a lot of the creatures that you sacrifice will replace themselves a couple times, like once or twice. But then they're gone. But this thing will sacrifice something, and then replace the thing you sacrificed with another thing that it can sacrifice. You just have to wait a turn. So... but like I said, if you can untap it, it only costs 1 mana to do it, so that's relatively cheap. So I see that this is a pretty interestingly decent card. It also turns all those 0/1 tokens and 1/1 tokens into 3/3s basically. Now you have to pay mana to turn them into it, but it's a relatively cheap cost. I'm really happy that the incubate to to transform the artifacts into the creature, the 0/0 Phyrexian creature, it wasn't sorcery speed. It would have been killer. It would have killed. I think it would have killed it. The whole incubate thing. If it would have any. I don't think it would have naturally killed the whole idea of incubate, because maybe you just want the tokens, the artifact tokens or something. But the idea of having the 0/0 like turning them into creatures, if it was sorcery speed, I think it probably would have killed it. The fact that you can do instant speed, do certain tricks, keep them safe from wrath effects and a whole bunch of other stuff, and do it an in-step and all that. Yeah, that's keep them safe. I mean, that's pretty good. Sigiled Sentinel, backup 1, Vigilance. When this creature enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Now this is a pauper card. Attacking this card. Interesting. I don't think it's powerful enough even for pauper, unfortunately. Ichor Shade. At the beginning of your instep, if an artifact or creature was put in your graveyard from the battlefield this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Ichor Shade. Unfortunately, this doesn't trigger whenever it happens, so I don't think that's a pauper card either. We have commons that trigger whenever something dies. Gift of Completion. When Gift of Completion enters the battlefield, incubate 3. When a Phyrexian you control dies, surveil 1. It's a 2-drop enchantment, uncommon. If this was a common, well, you need other stuff in pauper. I'd have to see how the enters the battlefield, incubate 3. I mean, it gives you basically, you have to invest more mana into it. I would have to see the fact that you get a possible 3-drop, because you have to invest 4 mana. 2 mana to get basically an artifact token with 3 1/1 counters that you have to pay 2 more mana to turn into a creature, into a 3/3 creature. And then whenever Phyrexian you control dies, fair 1. So basically you got to pay 4 mana in order to get the 3/3 creature and a 2-drop. Which isn't bad. Especially since the enchantment portion is separate from the creature. If this is all stapled onto one creature, again, this seems like this could be... I think this could be interesting in a sack deck. I'd have to see how standard, what's in the rest of the set, and also what standard's using. We've seen this before. This is part of the land cycling cards. When Tidal Terror attacks, you may tap 2 other untapped creatures you control. If you Tidal Terror can't block this turn, it's 4 blue 5/6. It's a common for 6 mana, a 5/6 that you could make unblockable for tapping 2 creatures with Island Cycling 2. I could possibly see this as a pauper card. However, it doesn't have delve. It really depends on the card. Ooh, we got a Planeswalker. Chandra's Hope's Beacon. Ooh, 6 mana though. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. For 6 mana, fucker should be triggering every turn, because this is going to be only in a control shell, because I ain't playing this in red deck wins, that's for sure. Or mono red burn. They always, it seems, I mean, lately they were getting Chandras, I think, better, and then all of a sudden they drop a fat Chandra again. Well, she's in a mana accelerator Chandra. This is interesting. Add 2 mana. Okay, so she looks like she's meant for a very specific purpose. Maybe not for... +2. Add 2 mana in any combination of colors. I mean, she's a Planeswalker that gives you 2 mana. That is good. I mean, that's good. I like mana acceleration at 6. I mean, this right there, I see this as the first two things. Commander, yes. +1, exile the top 5 cards of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among those exiled cards. Oh. The problem is you exile the top 5. If you did like 3, but you only get to do 1. And it says among those exiled cards. It doesn't say from a card among the cards exiled with Chandra Hope's Beacon. Because if it said that, then every turn that you do it, you could choose. I wish the +1 was a little different. So you exile 5 cards. You could easily hurt yourself and get like a crap ton. You could accidentally get 3 cards. That means you're only going to get to use 1 of them. So you just offed yourself. I know red's supposed to have a downside. It's pseudo draw, right? But if you can only play 1 of them, I'm fine. But I'd rather it at least let you pick from a larger percentage or something. Maybe that is too powerful, because even if you get it, it basically means your hand is super, super fat. That gives you way too many. Even if you only get to play 1 of them, it gives like 5 cards and 10 cards that you get to look at and play for many of them. If you just basically get to keep +1ing her and play any of those cards if they're instant or sorceries. So I'd rather this be like +1, look at the top 3 cards. Because it seems like you're going to be +1 in her. This seems like a Jeskai kind of deck that you're going to build around her. Or like a blue-red, some sort of blue-red control. And then -X, Chandra's Hope's Beacon deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. I mean, I guess if you want to really dig for cards, the +5, you don't care if you get rid of a whole bunch of cards. It might be positive. I mean, situationally, it could be positive. But if you want to just hit certain cards, or if you just want to hit a card, the +5, I mean, exile top 5 could hurt you. I'm really trying to think. I'm now thinking of a lot of decks that would want to see. You just want to see a shit ton of cards. I could possibly see this being used in Indomitable Creativity as like a 1 or 2 of. Because if you don't have the creativities or you don't have what you need, you can play this for the mana, which you easily can have 6 mana all the fucking time. Doesn't get hit by creativity. Does it? Yeah, creativity grabs you a creature, doesn't it? I'd have to check the creativity card again. If creativity only gets you a creature and not a planeswalker, then yeah, you play this thing, you exile top 5, snag the card that you need, hopefully, and then next turn you can +2 it to get you more mana, and then even copy it with the when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. So, and then -X, Chandra Hope's Beacon deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. So, at least she doesn't have a negative that's insane. It can be used removal right away, but there's a 4 and 5 mana Chandra. There's a 4 and 5 mana Chandra. That is pretty nasty that I don't like compared to her. That 6 mana is a fucking pain, though. Hey, we got ourselves a rare. We got 2 rare, 5 mythic rares. Dude, I'm telling you, the rares are what I need. The rares are what I need. Alright, so we got ourselves an uncommon wild card. Woo! Another Renata. Which, actually, I don't mind, because I'm interested in playing some not Pauper, some Stompy. Halo Charged Scab. Interesting. I like the art on that. It looks like he's got, like, Tesla things going down his arm that like a whole electricity or something. 4 and a blue. Creature zombie. When Halo Charge Scab enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. When you put an instant... Then you may put instant sorcery or battle card from your graveyard on top of your library. Yeah, I can see this possibly being a Pauper card. They have a similar card. I can't remember what it's called. I think there's either an Auramancer. It's either 4 or 5 mana that lets you put it, but I think it puts it right into your hand. But this also gives you more targets. Also, this is more power. The Auramancer is like a 2/4, I think, or a 2/2. And this is a 4/4. So it depends. 1 more mana does a little extra for the work for 1 mana. But also, I think the shell, I think it's the shell that it used to be in Pauper was a control shell. So I think the 1 extra mana is not going to kill you. We already know what the Expedition Lookout does. You want cards in graveyard, gives it unblockable. Wild Ward Escort, 4 and a green, Elf Warrior. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature or battle card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, it's probably kind of expensive for that. When it dies, exile it instead. So you can't cycle them between each other. 3/3, Elf Warrior. I don't know if Pauper's gonna want that for 5 mana. It could be interesting. It is an elf though, but I don't think the elf deck's gonna want it. For 5 mana, yeah, and the fact that it exiles itself. If it didn't exile itself and it would say like 4 mana, it was like, say it was like a 2/2 4 mana didn't exile itself, or like a 2/3 4 mana didn't exile itself, right? Even like a 3/2, then you could just continuously cycle these between each other in Pauper. Then I could definitely see it as something that you would want. And I would definitely play these, I think, in a Pauper deck, because you would just constantly get them back. I know they want to stop that, but it would be an interesting little cycle. I like the art on this one quite a bit. Something about it is it feels very comic booky. Alex Brock. I kind of want to look into him. It feels like it's out of a comic book, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy almost. Yeah, it feels like this artist should be doing Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. This feels like a cover for Guardians of the Galaxy or something. You know, maybe replace this Merfolk with Adam Warlock or something. And you got like an exploding star or sun in the background, and some sort of weird, mysterious black thing is like grabbing him and sucking him down. Like, look, I'm actually not a comic book nerd. I just know a little bit from the video. I'm a video game nerd, so I know a little bit. Like, I know some stuff like from the little bit of. I haven't watched the most recent Guardians of the Galaxy, to be honest, but I know from the video game that Sony came out with not too long ago and stuff. But yeah, I can just see like Adam Warlock going through space or something, and some sort of like mysterious black inky creature like trying to control him and grab him, something evil, and like somebody needs to help him before it takes over him or something, and like the Guardians got to save him, and there's like an exploding sun in the background, or I don't know. It looks cool though. I like it. It looks like the good art comic books used to have. This looks like a cover, more likely. It's got a lot of detail and stuff. But all right, enough of that. Back to what the card does. 3 mana, 1 green and a blue. So that's kind of a hefty price right there. Flying Vigilance. Mutagen Connoisseur gets +1/+0 for each transformed permanent you control. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to see play. If this was like +1/+0 for each Merfolk, other than Vidalcan other than for Mutagen Connoisseur, oh, I'd have a boner right now. Because like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, this Flying Vigilance 0/5 that has like 3 power. It has like 2, even if it only has 2 power. Like like I love green blue Merfolk. Like I said, I played a green blue Merfolk in Ixalan. I'd have a boner. I think I would have orgasmed already. I know it's probably not the best card ever, but I would have gotten 3 copies of this. The art's even perfect. It looks like they're on Ixalan. They probably are on Ixalan. Much to the Phyrexians' delight, sheer curiosity drove many to willingly surrender to completion. Just because it's got the wings and stuff? Unless transformed. No. I can't tell. I can't tell if maybe they're in Ravnica. And this is probably Ravnica. And this is, you know, yeah, it's because it's a Videlkin mutant. It's probably Ravnica. All right, rare. We got Rampaging Raptor. I said that weird. Rampaging Raptor. 2 red. 4/4 trample haste. That's pretty good. It's got pseudo fire breathing. 2 red. Gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent. Could they just shorten the text? I know could they either say whenever this creature or this card deals combat damage? Why do they always have to put the bloody name? I don't know if there's something in the rules text, but couldn't they just or even so, why couldn't they say whenever it deals combat damage? Didn't they used to do that? Is there a reason why they always, there's cards with really fucking long names. They could really, just imagine, instead of saying Rampaging Raptor, it's this card. They could easily have shortened this text box by, 1.5 lines. Anyways, that's why you'll always hear me replace it or this card or something all the time, just because it's less to say. Now I've spoken a bajillion more, but that's just because I like to talk. When Rampaging Raptor deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls or battle that player controls. This is definitely a usable dinosaur. Trample haste right there, 4/4. I mean, this is going to be in some sort of mono red. Red deck wins at the top of the curve, as at least 2 or 3 of probably, and it's got that pseudo. You know, you can if it on the trample haste, since it comes out right away. It's got, it's overrunning you. It's haste right away attacks. It's got that burn. I mean, it's got that fire breathing, and when it deals damage to an opponent, it's hitting a planeswalker. So you can go right to face, do the damage you deal to the player to a planeswalker if they've got one, or to a battle. So yeah, this is a great card. It feels like they push some dinos lately, which I don't have a problem with because dinosaurs are not many of them. So there's a lot of good rare dinos. But in the past, this would have been a really weird creature. It probably would have been a creature that didn't have a group. So I don't have a problem with that. This looks like it's obvious. This is obviously from Ixalan though. Need this for probably one of my commander decks. 4/4 that has all that ability. It basically has this basically has a sword attached to it. This is a 4/4 dino for 4 trample haste that has a sword already attached to it. So I love how the audio does that. Weird. Didn't I open a pack? I thought I opened a pack before I had another rare. I don't know. My brain's not working. Oh, we got another rare. It's been a little while since it did this. Glistening Dawn. Yeah, we got one of these before. Incubate twice, where X is the number of lands you control. This one, like I said, this could be easily playable in a lot of commander decks that care about lands and stuff, especially for 4 mana. It's a set price. Token. This also could be great for the my token deck. Just getting 2 tokens, token creatures, and the later the game goes, the more powerful they get. So this is also this is a Zendikar one. Interesting. It's like the Phyrexians seated everywhere. It's kind of cool. Like they were just in the background, waiting, watching, preparing. And then, like, they sprung their trap. Astral Wingspan. 5 mana, Convoke. Enchant creature. When this card enters the battlefield, draw a card. For 5 mana, fucking better. Creature gets +2/+2 and has fly. Even for Convoke, if this was common, which it isn't, it's uncommon for those listening, not watching, I could see this possibly playable in a Pauper shenaniganry. Obviously, it'd depend on the deck. Uncommon Convoke. This isn't gonna get any play in the Aura deck or anything like that I can see. They've got better cards. So Crystal Carapace. I mean, I would want to try and play it in a Pauper deck. Probably like a mono Flyers deck or something, just because of the draw a card and +2/+2. And then you could have like pseudo Flyer stuff. Crystal Carapace, 3 and a green, Aura, enchant creature gets +3/+3 and has Ward 2, Cycling 2. This, to be fair, I think has more of a playability just because of the Cycling 2. I know it doesn't draw you a card, but +3/+3 and Ward 2, not bad. Saiba Cryptomancer, 2, 1 in a blue, Moonfolk Ninja. I want more Moonfolk. Flash, backup 1, hexproof. Huh. I like it. It's very interesting. It's very short, sweet. Flash, we know what Flash is. Backup 1, put a 1/1 counter, and then that also gives something hexproof if we put that 1/1 counter on something else. Sorry, I was tapping the table. The mic might pick that up. I don't know if that's playable as a Pauper card. It does give something hexproof. There probably is something better to use, but it also puts it on a body. It's a ninja, though. It's also a ninja? I don't think there's a Pauper ninja, so... if it had unblockable... Ooh, that's what it should do. If they put unblockable, but then it probably would have been an uncommon. If it had unblockable, add one more keyword, unblockable. Because if you put the backup on something else, it would be a 0/1. If you put the backup 1 onto something else to give it hexproof and unblockable for a turn, right? That would be amazing. Give it hexproof and unblockable for a turn at flash speed. But that also means your creature, the Saiba, for 2 mana, is basically a dead 0/1. But if it was also unblockable, then it could be a creature that you attack with that could be a ninja enabler. Now, it's 2 mana still. So for most decks outside of Pauper, that's probably unusable. But, oh gosh, I want that just to have unblockable. Oh, it would have been amazing to have unblockable. And then I think that I would have loved that card. I would have tried to make that work. We've already we've had this one. Converter Beast, 4 mana. No? This is first. For some reason, I swear I had this one. I like this art too. It goes from like almost looking weird to photorealistic, where the tail is near, like, it's like a picture coming towards you. The tail. It's kind of weird. When Converter Beast enter the battlefield, incubate 5. It's a 0/1 for 4. Unless you're gonna mess around with that thing by pinging it all the time in and out of the battlefield, don't think so. Artistic Refusal, 6 mana. Choose. It's got Convoke, instant. Choose one or both. Counter target spell. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. I keep doing it, clicking my tongue. I'm sorry. It's because I'm thinking. You stop doing it. You can do both. It's got Convoke. I see this playable somewhere. The cost, though, it might just be Commander. 6 mana is awfully prohibitive. But you could play this in a much more creature-intensive deck, like green-blue or something. Yeah, you could play this in a much more creature-intensive deck to get that cost down. Yeah, I would have to see. I'd have to do a brew around or kind of see what's going on with it. I like the card, but that mana, if it would cost 5, because then you could get it down to blue for 3 creature, or you could, you know, it would cost 3 mana, 1 blue for 2 creatures tapping, which doesn't seem that bad for what it does, especially since it's choose one or both. Ooh, hey, we got the awesome art of the otter. I don't have this card yet, so cool. Not legal. This card is not legal in the following 4 formats. Historic, oh, just Historic Brawl, okay. It's just telling me that. Alright, that's cool. Oh, I should have read what the card does. It is an older card. Sorry, it's a reprint. It's an older card. After this, I'll actually go find it for you real quick. We got another copy. We got 2 rares in this pack again, which the last 2 packs were 2 rares, which is kind of cool. We got another Chrome Host Seed Shark, which is great. I think this is actually a pretty playable card through many formats here on Arena. Another Invasion of the Zendikar, which is a card we got before. Lets you search out 2 basic land cards and then put them into the battlefield tapped for 4 mana, which is a common thing. And then if you deal damage to it, you get a flip side Vigilance Haste creature, elemental creature. If it's on the battlefield, it's a land in addition to its other types. It has tap, add 1 mana of any color. Is a land in addition to its other types. So that means there's a lot of kill spells and removal spells that wouldn't be able to target it, because it says destroy, like a lot of things would say destroy target non-land permanent and stuff like that. So that's kind of a positive. I'm thinking about using this in my commander deck. I'm not sure yet. Cosmic Hunter, 1 and a green, instant. Target creature you control deals combat damage equal to its power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. So it's a one-side fight. That's actually not bad, since it also hits creatures, planeswalkers, or battles. So it's straight up better than quite a few of the one-sided fights. Temporal Cleansing, 4 mana, sorcery, convoke. The owner of target non-land permanent, see, there's a lot of target non-land permanents, puts it on their library, second from the top or on the bottom. It's got Convoke, though. Convoke's pretty good, and it's also Pauper. I see this playable in Pauper. This is like one of those either sideboard cards or one-of cards. I think another one is similar to is Set Adrift, but that is Delve. But this also could play in a lot of decks that have lots of creatures. I can see this as a card usable. I think there are some cards in Pauper. I can't remember. There's the one with Fibblethip on it that's like 5 mana that does something similar. I think it can hit land cards, but I'm not positive. Moment of Truth, 1 and a blue. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of these cards into your hand, 1 into your graveyard, 1 in the bottom of your library. Definitely playable. It's also common. This is one of the lands, I'm not sure. Pyrulia, pretty sure this is not the land that has humans and monsters. So, again, this could be a land that we've already been to in a much older set, but I don't know. This is one of the ones, though, I think is definitely playable. And, when it enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's land or double-face card, draw a card. So it's in the decks you're going to play, it's just basically draw a card. And then when you flip it, if you deal 4 damage, you get a 4/4 creature, trample, ward 2, other transport permanents you control have trample and ward 2. So, and then another Thunderhead Squadron. Convoke, flying, 3/4/4/6. So, here's our card. Ooh, another unique art. This looks like it's from, what is it? One of the Kamigawa sets. Cezanne. Yeah, Saison. Yeah, that would be Saison. Perverter of Truth, 3 black, legendary creature, demon spirit. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, drawing cards, losing life. There are decks that would like this. There is a commander that wants to force people to draw cards, because every time you draw cards, you lose life. So this would work well in that deck, I think. Also, the fact that the only problem is this would allow them to get cards first. Unless you have something stopping them from drawing cards. Like, if you combine this with Narset, the uncommon Narset, or something, maybe, because you want the extra cards, they don't get the extra cards, you don't care about the life loss. It's just like a Phyrexian, it's like a better Phyrexian Arena on a creature. So I think it's a good card, and I think with other cards in unison. I think it also probably has several strategies that would work well with it. Like I said, there's commander cards that I definitely know of that want this card, because they want to force the opponent to draw cards, either because force them to discard. When they draw, they lose lots of life, tons of different things. So, ooh, this is also from one of the. No, this is from Dominaria. Tetsuka Umezawa, Fugitive. Is this the Umezawa that is Umezawa's G? Yeah, she's got Umezawa's Jite, right? On her hip? Or is that him? I think it's a she. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. I actually want that art. That's the stained glass art. This is the art I like, compared to the other one that we got. This one, yeah, I have this in one of my commander decks. The Chaloon, the Storyteller, or something like that, because a lot of my creatures are just 1/1 mana dorks, and it makes them all unblockable. So that's a good card. This makes, yeah, so if you have a deck of mana dorks, 1 power creatures, or 1 toughness creatures, and like 2 power, or 3, like what you do is you get 3 power, 1 toughness, all that kind of stuff, and then it just makes them, again, I think it's a she, makes them all unblockable. This is an uncommon Tangled Skyline, 5 mana, 4 and a green. Enters battlefield, you gain 5 life and incubate 5. Phyrexians you control have reach. That doesn't seem very playable. Another Mirrodin's Avenged. Portent Tracker, which we've had before. Untap, 1 and a green, untap target land. Choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove it. A defense counter, otherwise put a defense counter. I see this as playable somewhere. The fact I'm surprised that this isn't played in the mono green Storm the Festival, so that you can just untap your Nyx Tenured Oilcaster, 3 and a black, menace. Tenured Oilcaster gets +3/+0 as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. When Tenured Oilcaster attacks or blocks, each player removes a card. Omenhawker, Cephalid Advisor. Tap, add colorless and blue. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. This has gotta see play somewhere. A mana dork that taps for 2 mana for abilities. Nezumi's Informant, 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. That'll see play somewhere. Ancient Imperiosaur, 7 mana, 6/6, Convoke, Trample, Ward 2. Enters battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it for each creature that convoked it. I see this as playable. Very playable. Oh yeah. Totally. Just big stomp the green. Into our last pack, we have Rada Coalition Warlord. I think we've already done this one. Domain enters battlefield. When it becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X till end of turn, where X is number of basic land types among lands you control. Huh. That's okay. I can see that in a red-green aggro deck. I mean, it's only Domain 2, but I can see it as getting... You could possibly get more. Collective Nightmare. Instant. Convoke. Target creature gets -3/-3 till end of turn. If this was common, I definitely see this as being playable. I don't know why they made it uncommon. Simply because of Convoke? I simply mean, like, because I could see it being used in Pauper. Meeting of the Minds. 3 in blue. Convoke. Draw 2 cards. Failed conversion. 4 in a black. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets -4/-4. When an enchanted creature dies, surveil 2. No, that's not playable. This is the one I was talking about, the other 1/3 versus the 2/2 for 2 that also had transform for 4 mana, 3 into Phyrexian blue. But that one had prowess. It was, what was it? Trample, Ward 2, prowess or something. Maybe, like, this is turn 1 and the other one is turn 2, right? This is 1 blue, the other one's 1 in a red. Both have transform for 3. I mean, the other one has prowess triggers. So, I don't know. But this one also, when it transforms, exile the top card of your library till end of turn. Your next turn, you may play that card. I mean, it's got pseudo draw on it. So, I don't know. It would be interesting to see people playing the two of them together. Maybe they play in different types of decks. Alright, so the rare is going to be a rare wild. I'll take that. So we got 3 rare wilds, 5 mythic rare wilds, 25 uncommon wilds, 22 commons. After this, so this is going to be the end of the video. And I'll try and edit out the part where I went and got my food out of the oven. I'm still working on editing and trying to get it just right, but I think we've been doing all right. I've been cutting out some of the beginnings and endings and stuff, so it just takes a little bit more time. But I like doing it, actually. I say that now. I'll probably in the future I'll hate it. But I love how the music just cuts in. But after this video, we'll be doing March of the Machines mythic packs, which we got 10 of them. So, all of those should be mythics, as far as I understand it. Yeah, so I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this video. We got some new stuff, and I liked it. Nothing that I can really see that we're really going to probably be using right now. Cards that are interesting, though. Some of them look like they're definitely standard playable. I see a lot of cards that are commander cards, some pauper cards. But right now, since I don't play standard, I don't see anything that really affects, at least ones that I don't see. The only one I saw was there was a couple uncommon cards that I've seen so far in Historic. So, I mean, if we ever decide to play blue-red, that means we got cards for it. I like to. I like building out those decks. The nice thing is you know, those cards don't go away. I definitely can't trade them away like cards I did in the past. I have so many cards that I wish I hadn't traded away in the past. Even things like Shocklands back from the original Zendikar. I didn't. I was a young kid and I didn't understand how, not just like monetarily valuable, but how useful they were. So those things, you know, I wish I hadn't traded away. And so, but digital, at least they are part of my collection. I guess that's one good thing, but I kind of wish now that I'm older I wish there was trading on Arena, because there are cards that I need, and there's probably tons of cards that I don't really need. That way I at least could finish out a deck, certain decks that I want to play. And since I can just, and I'm not paying any money into it, then I could just use wild cards to get the cards that I want. So, but you know, anyways, so we will be opening up these 10 mythic rares. So yeah, I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope a little bit was valuable information or interesting. So bye bye.